Just want to make an announcement. Those cups are for you. So pick your cup. That will be your gift. The first 50 guests receive a cup, or mugs, I guess, cups, mugs. And we're going to start very shortly. President just arrived, so thank you so much. So we can get started. Please take a seat. Help yourself with coffee, cookie, chocolate, whatever that energizes you. Good afternoon. Oops. I'm Jackie Corosani. For those of you who don't know me, first of all, what's going on? What's wrong with these seats, people? Come on down. Come on down. It's an informal session. We're here to mingle. So come on down, please. I teach economics here, but I'm also one of the organizers of this program we call PioPitch. Before we get started, since this is our very first session, I want to explain a little bit to you what PioPitch is all about. Our goal is to provide a venue for local, existing, and aspiring entrepreneurs to basically come here and share their experiences, their challenges, their opportunities, and their ideas with the rest of us. And then, hopefully, they receive a little bit of good feedback, timely feedback from us. We're not consultants. This is not going to be a lecture. It's not going to be something that you can allow yourself to get bored, because we don't want that, right? It's going to be very interactive. Now, I want to also explain to you what our working definition of entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is somebody who looks around, sees problems, needs, and comes up with ideas to solve those problems or meet those needs. Now, could it be for profit in a for-profit business? Sure. Could it be for non-profit business? Sure. Could it have to do nothing with business? Sure. It could be, you may have an idea on how to solve a community, a social problem. You can share those ideas with us. So that's our working definition of entrepreneur. It's not all about for-profit business. Another thing I wanted to tell you is that we were asked by people who are interested to attend today and couldn't attend to tape this. What that means is that, and we're going to, of course, post it on our website so everybody can see. Yeah, you're excited about that. You're going to get, famous. What that means is that every time we talk, we have to hold this mic. Otherwise, they cannot record our voices very clearly. So when it's your turn, and there's going to be lots of time for you guys to talk, please raise your hand, and somebody is going to bring the mic to you so that you can talk, and we can all hear you, and then your voice could be recorded clearly. Before I finish this little spiel and ask President Bruno to officially start our program, I want to thank my co-organizers. And some of them are here. Dr. Gama Prucci, please stand up so everybody can see you. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement. Then we have Professor Sarah Alway Rosenstock. Thanks so much. She's been great. I mean, we all kind of had this idea, and we were working on it without knowing where we were going sometimes with it. Laura Pitlick, thank you. I don't see Dr. Anna Velour here. Yeah! Thanks, Anna. Hillis Hughes couldn't be here. Oh, you're here. Thank you. Thank you. Who am I forgetting, people? Because I'm very forgetful. I'm 62 years old. Kathy Maurer, she's on a trip. And also, there's a lot of people, that we have support. We have the support of the Office of Provost. Thank you, Dr. Miller, and thank you, Dr. Bruno. So I'm going to turn it in to President Bruno to get us going. Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Khorassani. Dr. Khorassani spoke about this program at the faculty meeting in January, and she brought enough enthusiasm and excitement to it that I said, I'm never going to speak after her at any event. And yet here I am. But I do. Yesterday at a meeting, I thanked her for her leadership of this, and she quite rightly pointed out all the folks she just recognized today who have been participating. And so I do want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for what's gone on here. And I said that at some point I said to some of you that when I first saw the banner go up outside the door and I saw the word PioPitch, what I've come to learn at Marietta College is that something becomes official when it has Pio in the title. And so I know that we are truly underway here, and that's very exciting to me. So this idea came up sometime last year, and I had some vague ideas about what I would like to accomplish. They were really vague, and I had things in mind. A couple of major goals were to talk to students about entrepreneurship and maybe provide opportunities and training and ideas around that. Another real important idea I thought was if we could get folks, alumni, to come back and participate, we could form some really strong relationships between graduating seniors and more experienced alumni. I never call them old, especially when they're in the room. But I thought those relationships would be very helpful. I thought perhaps we could help fill some of the storefronts on downtown if we had students starting businesses. I thought perhaps we could keep some of our students in the area a little bit longer and forge those relationships. All of this was a fairly vague concept in my mind, and I worked with Beth McNally to try to put together a proposal, and she was very helpful adding some structure. And we did get funded, and we've sent some faculty members and staff members off to be trained on how to convey a program like this. But I think I have to say the most important thing in this whole program for me is the following. We hear too much from students out in the world that a liberal arts training is not a preparation for a career. Now, I hope those of you who are Marietta students have seen through that and got past that. But that, I think, is a problem that's plaguing all of us in the world today. Those of us who have gone through a liberal arts curriculum and have liberal arts degrees, as adults have realized what a great training that was for the rest of our lives. And we're more than happy to tell you all about that. If we've learned anything, though, we remember when we were 20 or 21 how much we were willing to listen to adults preaching at us about things like that. And so it seemed to me that the best thing we could do is to try to train students and let them learn for themselves how to present themselves and how an entrepreneurial focus can really form the bridge from a liberal arts discipline to success in later life. And to me, that is the most fundamental part of this program. So I'm very excited to see so many of you here today. I consider this the official kickoff. There's no going back now, and that really excites me. And so I'm delighted to have you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, President Bruno. My name is Sarah Rosenstock, and on behalf of the PioPitch Committee, I'd like to introduce the first speaker. Our speakers have been very brave and are innovative to come up here and be the first ones to do this and to share their story, their ideas, and ask you for feedback. The first speaker is Doug Kreinick. Come on. Kreinick. So, I'm so sorry, Doug. Kreinick, come on up, Doug. Kreinick Manufacturing was established by his parents in 1971 in Parkersburg, West Virginia, so just across the river. He joined the business in '83. They manufacture metallic braids, silks, carry of all sorts of embellishments used in by many textile enthusiasts in needlepoint, weaving, sewing. You can imagine the list goes on. He's well known through his speaking engagements around North America, the UK, and Russia. The company name is well known across the world, telling the story of his company in the industry, teaching textile artists about threads and moving people out of the box into the world of embellishments. His job in life is to travel the world, giving stitchers and textile artists innovative ideas by adding color, light, fun to their incredible creations and heirlooms. So please welcome Doug. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Well, what is the worst thing that can happen to you when you have a modern business and you depend upon the internet? Your internet goes out for 4 days. So everything I had prepared for this came back online 11 o'clock today. So I felt pretty good. But I'll tell you about the business. Business started with my parents. My dad was 55 and a half years old. He was fired from one of the companies down the river here. And that was before they had the age discrimination laws. And with that, one day my parents were driving down the road. My mom was doing her needlepoint, and it was all over the car. And my dad said, with all your background in couturier design, can't you do something about organizing your threads? So she went home and challenged herself and created the first needlework organizer on the market. My dad kept looking around for jobs, and after 9 months, he quit looking around and went into business with my mom. From that point on, the business grew. In 1979, they came up with the idea of taking metallic thread and braiding it. And they changed the whole market. They also went into silk. They changed the market there because up to that point, people were using acrylics, they were using wool, they were using cotton, and they just weren't using silk. But they changed it so that people started using silk. So there was silk. I don't know if you know what cross stitch is, but it's using little X marks on fabric, and people started using silk. And so then the shop owners started earning more because silk is more money. And then they started using metallics, and the shop owners started earning more money. So the shop owners liked the product. From there, we moved into, we're in needlepoint, we're in cross stitch, we're in knitting. We have products that are used in knitting that are carried along so that you can take your favorite yarn and customize it. And I know with millennials, you like to customize. So that's one thing that we're looking at. You can use it in crochet. I just picked up weaving, and playing with weaving, it's quite interesting looking. But we're into spinning, we're into tatting, any place where thread is used, even fly fishing, big in fly fishing. Let me see. The demographics have changed a great deal in the last 40 years. I'm in what could be considered, I call, the older, wiser generation. And my generation has been doing stitchery for a long time. They average about 55 and up. And they're getting older, their hands are not as steady as before, and their eyesight is not as good as before, so they're looking for new and better things, so they're going into weaving. And that's a trend I see, going from knitting into weaving. Then there are the Gen Xers. For the longest time, they wouldn't do anything that their parents did. And now that they have kids, they're starting to make stuff for their kids. And then there's you all, the millennials, who I'm really interested in because you're a large market, have no money, don't like rules, like glow-in-the-dark threads, like reflective threads. Let me see, what else? Yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten with you all. But it's a real challenge as far as an entrepreneur to have to constantly change and look forward to, how can we change the marketplace? As an entrepreneur, there are a couple of things that I know is that, number one, you can fail. You can create new products and nobody buys them, and you feel that you're a failure, and then you go on to the next product. And another is to always tell the truth, because if you don't tell the truth, sooner or later, you're going to get caught in a lie, and that's not it's not good business. Then, of course, there is my favorite one, and that's threads visualize your thoughts. You can create a lot of things with threads. And for instance, and all sorts of interesting things. I stretched the idea of quilting by quilting a tape dispenser with tape and fabric and beads. And then I put on, we have a metallic that irons on. So that's how creative we are all the time. We just keep creating to try to actually help the creative market, which isn't really creative. We push creativity through the marketplace, oftentimes. Is that good?
wondering if you wanted to pass some of your samples.
Oh, yeah, well,
and
I have a
stuff.
lot of, yeah, I'll pass some
Yeah?
of these out, yeah.
Yeah?
You know, this is the kit I just created, and it takes 2 hours to do. Again, it says no rules on there, and it glows in the dark. We have a lot of threads that glow in the dark, and so they're kind of fun. There was a group of kids in New Jersey. There were 20 of them, and in a 2-hour period, they all finished their projects, and they were able to put them on their little notebooks. Here's a pen, and the inside of the pen, well, there's a piece of perforated paper in here, and you stitch on the perforated paper, and then you roll it up and put it inside the pen. So a lot of things we have are customization. You know, for instance, the reflective yarn I have, let me see, where is that? Oh, well, here's something. You all also like reuse, recycle, and repurpose. This is chopped up thread that's been stitched, stitched on water-soluble material with metallic thread, and the person created their own fabric. So it's reusing all types of different things. Because the one thing, you know, you can reuse fabric, you can reuse lots of things, but you really can't reuse thread. So this thread was from my employees making mistakes. So we just chopped it up and we create new products from that. This is reflective yarn right here. And a car light can see that a quarter of a mile away. So for anybody who's into running or biking, they can put this on even things that you buy at Walmart. And so you can customize things like that. So those are a few of the really advanced things that we're working on. We have conductive threads that you can put in the fingertips of your gloves. And we're constantly looking for new and better things to introduce to the market. We don't always have a customer base for it, but we're known so well, except in Parkersburg, where we hardly sell anything. But we sell mainly in larger cities, and I have a big fan base in like Russia and the UK and Canada and the larger cities in the US.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. I'm just going to kick off the questions and then hand it off to you guys. So what can this community do for you, Doug? So what kind of questions do you have to have the opportunity to have a room full of a mixture of age groups, including Marietta College students and established entrepreneurs, and also an older generation that may also use some of your goods? So what can we do?
Oh, I'd like to ask the millennials, you know, does thread turn you on? You know, do you have passions? You know, what if you could have me make something for you that you would use? What would it be? You know, what are you looking for? I ask my son that all the time. So don't get any answers. Anyway, so you know, I'm really curious to find out as a millennial, you know, what might I produce? You looking at finished products? You looking at different ways of using threads? Somebody suggested with the reflective yarn to use it to write subliminal messages in sweaters. So when you're at a concert and lights go by you, all of a sudden there's this message. Or when a car is on your tail and you're running down the street, you give it a message. So you know, there are all sorts of things that can be done, and it's just imagination and creativity that spurns us on.
Are there any questions? Great. What's that?
Well, I just thought of shoes.
Yeah.
Shoes, actually, not the soles, the upper part of shoes. I don't know how thick the threads are, but from when I look at Toms and Vans and they play with fabric and different designs and different colors, and so just shoes for the summer, like with easy rubber soles, and you use thread to make designs for the upper part.
That's this type of thread could be used to do that too, because I have other threads too. There's sewing threads.
Yeah.
There are high-speed sewing threads. Also, there's a customer I'm working with right now. I guess I can tell about this. He's using the reflective thread to do the seams around the seats, motorcycle seats. So that's pretty creative. I had another customer who was interested in using the reflective thread to put in socks for Alzheimer's patients, so that at night they could just flash a light and see the person.